everyone, I'm back for another week of videoing in my car whilst I'm driving. So that's what I tried out the last time, and today I'm doing the same. It's the last day of work for me in 2018. I'm driving to work as we speak on my daily commute in the morning. It'll be nice to have a break because I haven't really had too much days off in 2018. I think I've only had one day off since I started working at Codemaster, so I'm well due a break and having some rest and spend some time with the family and really just enjoy Christmas time, because it's one of my favourite times of the year, so I'm going to really enjoy that. So last week we looked at esports and how you can get started in esports. Basically what I advised was to start doing something that you're interested in, so if it was the likes of football or motorsport, Formula 1, whatever it is, if you're interested in that, then that's probably what you should start with. So hopefully you guys have done some research, you know what you want to do by now, and you can get started with practice. And that's one of the main tips from the last video was practice makes perfect, and you needed determination to carry that through. So the determination really pushes you through the practice, and you can spend hours on end improving your techniques and improving your performance. So that's basically what we done in the first one. So in this video I think I'm going to talk a little bit more about sim racing in general, and the things that I'm going to talk about probably apply more to sim racing games and motorsport. Like I said, last year, it was about 1 year ago, I started practicing in the competition that I was going to compete in, which was the World Rally Championship Esports. And what you really need to do once you figure out what you want to do, and you know that you need determination and you need to practice, what you need to do is start practicing. I touched upon that in the last video, that I started practicing against the best times in the world, against the guys who had been in the World Finals the year before, and that really allowed me to reach their level very quickly. Find some sort of level to aim for. You need to figure that out pretty quickly. The easiest way to do that is look at the leaderboards from the game that you're playing and try and find players that have been in major competitions before. If you can do some research on that, you know, you can look up pretty much online anything nowadays, so you can find out who's been in the grand finals of the competition that you're looking to compete in next year, and then, you know, find them on leaderboards. They'll be there somewhere, and you know, just keep trying to beat their times, and that's how you're going to achieve the level that you need to be at to be within a chance of becoming the champion in that esports competition. Using me as an example, I started practicing against their times, made sure I was beating their times, and then they would try and beat mine and I would beat theirs, and so on and so forth. And one of the main things in sim racing, if car setup is allowed in the competition, then you really need to focus on finding a setup with the car that suits your driving style and makes you faster, because everyone is doing as much as they can to fine-tune the car setups to suit their style and get as much speed out of their performance as they can. And once you're working one-to-one with the car and everything's flowing, then you're really going to be putting in really hot stage times or lap times. So yeah, you really need to just fine-tune the car setup, and with rally, the car setup changes for every location, every event, every rally. The car setup will be different, so you really need to focus on finding what works for you and finding what can bring you the most speed. It takes a lot of time, and you really need to invest a lot of time, and you know, you need to be determined to reach the level that you need to get to. Practice makes perfect, and that's true when it comes to setting the car setup as well. You'll be tuning things like the springs, the spring lengths, the spring stiffness. You'll be tuning the dampers, you'll be tuning the anti-roll bars, you'll be tuning the tires, you'll be tuning the gears, you'll be tuning the differentials, you'll be tuning the brakes, the brake bias, the brake pressure, all them things you need to tune for each rally independently or each racetrack. If it's something that you're determined to do, then setting the car up should be something that you really enjoy doing. You know, sometimes it can be frustrating if you're trying everything and it's not going to plan. But what I do suggest is whenever you're setting up your car is to make just little small adjustments here and there, because if you make massive adjustments you're just jumping from one bit to another and you don't really know what's actually working. But if you make little small changes, you can figure out, well, okay, I just changed the rear anti-roll bar by one click harder, and then that made it worse or better, and you know that, okay, if I do that then it's making it better, if I do that then it's making it worse, rather than changing 3, 4, 5 things at once and then you don't know what's actually made it better and what's made it worse. So you just need to focus on small changes and just move everything around, play with stuff, and really learn what works in the game for your driving style and what actually works to make the car faster, because not every game is totally authentic, and it doesn't really compare to how a change in real life, the setup would affect the car in real life compared to in the game. So you just need to figure out what is better in the game to make you go faster. And while we're on the subject of car setup, I probably forgot another important thing, which is if you're using a steering wheel, which I presume you are for racing esports, although there's some guys that are really quick with the pad and using a hand controller, they can put in really good times as well. But you really need to focus on setting up your wheel to make you as fast as you can, and that's something that I really focused on before the grand final this year. I made sure that the wheel was as perfect as it could be for the grand final, and the wheel that you use in the grand final could be different from the one you use at home, which is always going to be quite difficult to be fully prepared for. But thankfully the one that I have at home, the Thrustmaster TSXW, was the same that we were using in the grand final. So the setup that I had practicing at home was the same as what I could set up in the grand final, and I think that really helped me as well. It's a big thanks to Thrustmaster. They've supported me so much throughout this year and supplied me with steering wheels and pedals, handbrakes, sequential shifters, everything that you could ever want to be fast in a racing game they've supplied me with, and it's unbelievable. Technology feels really nice to drive with, and the quality is second to none as well. So definitely check out Thrustmaster products if you're looking to buy a wheel, because you might be watching this video and you might have never tried sim racing games with a wheel before. So I highly recommend starting with Thrustmaster, and if you're able to show great potential and great speed from the start, then you might get picked up with a brand, and that's something that you need to try and do whenever you become a professional esports player as well, is get associated with brands within sim racing and within the gaming community. So I'm very lucky to have got the chance to represent Thrustmaster this year on my first year competing, and there's some great guys that helped me get there, and that was working through the community. So I'm part of a community group on Facebook of over maybe 2,000, 3,000 people, and the guy who runs that page is called Yanis Greekman, and he's part of my team in Thrustmaster. He's an amazing guy, really friendly, and he helped me a lot in the start. That's another thing that you need to try and do is learn from people who have already been in the community for a long time, and ask them advice, try and learn as much as you can for them, and just be friendly, because you need to make relationships in this sport to go far in esports. Even though you're playing it in your bedroom, you need to communicate with the community and make friends, and that'll really help you, because you'll learn at a much faster rate than you would on your own. Yeah, big thanks to Giannis, and he got me involved with Thrustmaster because he was already driving with Thrustmaster, and he's seen my potential. And Eric at Thrustmaster has been amazing as well, such a friendly guy, amazing guys, and we had an amazing team this year, and we all helped each other with setups, we all helped each other with the steering wheel setups, everything. You know, when you have 4 drivers working together in a team, it helps bring up the performance much better because you have 4 heads working in one direction. It's all about finding your place in the community and try and get involved with the team and try and communicate with guys that can help you become faster. So I guess today's advice is to get started in practice against the times, the leaderboards, figure out who you need to beat from the quickest guys in that game who have been racing there for the last couple of seasons and made it to the finals. You also need to become part of the community and find groups and pages that are dedicated to the esports that you want to compete in, and try to learn as much as you can from the guys that are in them groups that can help you in many ways. They can give you advice, they can help you car setup, they can help you with wheel setups. You know, there's guys out there who will want to help you. They might be the fastest guys in the world, but they're gonna want to help you. So ask for advice is really important to get you started and save you time worrying about figuring out what's the best way to set up the cars or what's the best way to set up my wheel. And that leads us on to another point from today, which is you really need to focus on the car setups to make sure they fit your driving style, that you get the most performance out of them. And yeah, just spend time, invest time on tuning setups. It's not always all about your driving. You know, all the guys at the top of esports, they're all driving at the maximum, they're taking the most out of it. So it really comes down to having a good car setup, a good base setup, and then tuning that for each event and maybe each racetrack if you're in circuit racing. Your consistency and the consistent setup that suits your driving style will make you consistent. So consistency in sim racing is paramount. You need to make sure you're consistent to win major competitions. So it's not all about raw speed. You need to work on being consistent as well, and you know, if you're consistent then you can really achieve great things in the sport. The other point from today is to work on your wheel setup. So make sure that your wheel setup suits you, that you're comfortable with what you're using, that it feels good, the force feedback settings are set up the way you want them to be. You know, it's personal preference. The same way with car setup, the wheel setup is personal preference. It needs to work for you. You need to get the most out of it. So what did we learn today? We learned that you need to aim for a goal, you need to focus on the top, aim for the guys who are really quick and, you know, try and beat their times. You need to get involved in the community and, you know, look for advice from people who are playing the same game that you're interested in, that you're competing in, and get as much feedback and learn as much as you can from them. Start working on car setups and try and figure out what's the quickest way to set the car up for you, and that you know, you need to learn as much as you can about that to become a really good esports player. So do some research on car setups and what makes a great car, you know, what makes a racing car go fast. And last but not least, you need to figure out what wheel settings are the best for you. You need to get the force feedback right, you know, that you're getting the right amount of bumps and vibrations and counter steer, and everything feels really good to play with. So you need to work on that. Yeah, that's really it for this week, guys. It's probably a short video, but just trying to give you some more advice, and I'm trying to take it step by step as if I was starting again. And I'll say I wasn't starting from scratch this year. Whenever I started in January, I know I've played sim racing for many years. I think I've played racing games and started with Colin McRae Rally whenever I was 5 years old. So I'm not a newbie to sim racing, but you know, I've played throughout the years. I've learned a lot throughout the years. So if you're starting out, I can imagine it's much more difficult, but you need to get started somewhere. And I'm looking at this from the point of view of if you're starting as a newbie. So we built upon the first video, and what we looked at there was that you needed to figure out what you're interested in, and then practice makes perfect, and determination to improve is really important as well. And yeah, today we've looked at, once you figured out what you need to do, that you need to get started with practicing, and that, you know, the next steps is getting involved in the community and working further on from there. So yeah, I'm just taking it bit by bit, and you know, next week we'll look at some more in-depth stuff to do with what we talked about today. So I think that's it for this video, guys. I'm obviously going back home to Ireland this weekend. Today's my last day at work, and yeah, I'm really excited to go back home. I'm going to be making some videos, sim racing videos, and try and put out some really great content on the channel, so keep an eye out for that. And yeah, have a good Christmas. I hope you all get what you want from Santa. I've asked for a R5 rally car, but I don't think I'm going to get one of those somehow. So yeah, you know, just keep working, guys, and I hope you have a great Christmas, and I hope you get everything that you want. And yeah, I'll see you in the new year for probably for the esports things, but as I said, I'm going to put out content over the Christmas period that is all related to the esports tutorial. So until next time, guys, remember, keep flat out and have a great time over Christmas, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.